In April, as I moved this nursery grown Scots pine from this huge plastic pot into a training ceramic pot, I was forced to almost completely bare root the tree. More than 5 months later, the tree is healthy and strong, with great growth this past summer and quite a lot of buds popping out on the branches. So I feel very safe to start working on the canopy of this pine, starting by removing the top part of the trunk to what is part 2 of this tree's story. So I'm left with these two main branches to become the next trunk line and form the apex. On the left, this branch forms a slightly less than a 90-degree angle with the trunk, which is not ideal, but it's quite flexible due to a wound on its base. The other branch on the right forms a much more natural, larger than 90-degree angle with the trunk, but it is inflexible and almost impossible to place to a bonsai suitable position. I'll place a bolt to use for bending the future upper trunk, but before my choice, I'll clean up every lost or useless part of the tree. That is a lower angle showing another 90-degree angle to the main trunk for the left trunk, while the right branch remains more naturally placed. That's the difference in flexibility between the two branches. Before removing one or the other, I make sure I have a third branch further down that can become the apex of a much smaller tree in case something goes wrong with these two main branches. I remove the lower weird branches that are definitely unnecessary for my style. First, I'll bend the left branch into place, the one with the 90-degree angles but flexible. This, if successful, can give me something more interesting and exciting than the more naturally placed branch. I'm being slow and careful not to overbend it and break it at the wound. A better temporary placing of this branch will let me evaluate if I like this new trunk to become the apex or if I will have to remove it and work with the other possible trunk. I've made my decision that this trunk works, so I'll remove the right hand trunk. As I start to wire all of the branches starting from the lowest, I'm having so much fun. I set these at once instead of everything together at the end. I decided to move the guy wire lower so that I have more control of the position of the upper part that will form the apex. Immediately I decide to move the bolt over to the other trunk wound, which was my plan B trunk. That will bend the apex towards the center and above the nebari. Now that is the wound that keeps me on the edge today. For now it looks to be okay. I am placing a second guide wire to bend the apex towards the front of the tree. I would love to go further, but I don't think that this wound can take more stress. Now, this is the first styling of the tree and by no means close to what it will look like in 5 years. I'll take advantage of the development of this back budding that popped out this summer and more that will probably come and push the foliage closer to the trunk. Setting the apex, I ignore for now the rule of 2 per node. Inverse taper will take years to develop and I desperately need all of the foliage I can save as I removed around 60% of this morning's canopy. To be honest, I find this transformation undeniably inconceivable. I hope you do as well. Thank you for your time.